There we go. Now we have audio. I think we are live and no one's going to be surprised. I am not ready. I actually forgot to pre-sketch out my jellyfish. There we go. So tonight we are going to be working on a jellyfish. I'm going to be working in Pastels with colored pencil on top of that. And you can see I've got my paper here. This is going to be a 5x7 and I'm starting on black Canson Inktense. Now I'm sort of ready. Sort of not. This part was supposed to be done already, but I'm going to count it. I'm going to count it as being prepared. I guess it works because I'm going to show you how you can easily get your drawing onto your paper. So if you want to trace your subject out, even if you want to freehand it yourself, I would freehand it on another piece of paper. I would not freehand it on your project paper, because if you do, you're going to have eraser marks all over the place. You're going to make a hot mess. We want this to stay nice and clean, and that's such a big thing about keeping your work looking professional, just being clean. So I've pre-drawn it out on a piece of tracing paper. Now, whether you want to trace, whether you want to freehand, up to you, but I would still use these methods, or you can also use a projector. I love digital projectors for this, but I'm just going to tape this onto my paper. And now all I have to do is take a piece of white transfer paper, and you can use, I used to use Low Cordell. I've got two different brands here. I don't even know what the current more popular one is, but it's fine. Like a white transfer paper. Any of those should be fine. One that's meant for art. I think they call it like a charcoal or a graphite type. You don't want an oil-based or a waxy type that sometimes is on the type you can use on fabric. How many times can I say type? But the ones, I've seen those before that you can use to like draw your pattern out on t-shirts and such. Probably not the best choice because that's not going to blend out well. So what I'm going to do is just stick this under here. Which side is it? Oh, I don't even know which side. Hold on, let me check. On this one, I can't tell which side's which. That is not the side. That is the side. So we just stick that under there. And then I can use a stylus. You can use an old pen. Actually, cheaper than a stylus. You can look up art style. I should put this in. Why don't I have this in my video description? I need to fix that. But you can get these from Amazon. The cheaper ones, you can see there, are the ones that are nail dotting tools, nail tools, or something like that for nail art. Like I've used them to make polka dots on my nails. Way cheaper than the ones labeled for art. You get more too. There's like a 5 or a 6 pack for not very much money. So anyway, I'm just going to lightly trace over about where I want some of these lines for my jellyfish. And you can get this reference photo over at my website. Link is in the video description, along with a list of all of the supplies I use, apparently, except for the stylus. And I'm not going to put all these lines in here. I can freehand most of those in. I just want a general idea of the movement. There we go. So now everything is drawn in. And I can remove my tracing paper. Oops. There we go. And as always, you can bid on this one. It is available. The link is in the video description over at my website. Starting bid is $55, and this one will come with a black mat. Actually, I'll say it'll come with a black or white mat of your choice. I'm pretty sure black mat's going to look far better on this one. And I'm not sure if this one will be super popular being a jellyfish. One of you guys did request a jellyfish when I asked a few weeks back on subjects you wanted. Also, let me know future videos, what subjects would you like me to draw? I need to know the subject you want and the medium that you're looking for. So definitely let me know those. But on this one, somebody did request a jellyfish, but I don't know how popular it will be. So I'm going to make sure it's to my taste, because if it doesn't sell, this one's going on my wall. So what I'm going to do is start with the Pastels. Let's move all of this stuff out of the way. You can see I've got the set of 20 Pastels. They're just the basic set. One of the things that I'm asked a lot is what colors you should get, how many colors, which set. This is just like your basic set of 20, and it gives me all of the colors I feel I need. Like, I've been really happy with this set. Let's adjust this a little bit. There we go. I've been able to mix everything I want from this, although I will say somebody posted on Instagram recently all the colors they had in a green set for leaves. There were some beautiful greens, and now it makes me want more, but realistically, you don't need them. Like, this is technically enough. Now, I'm going to start with my background. Mostly it's going to be black, but I do want to get that sort of teal color fading out behind the jellyfish. Again, this one may end up on my wall, so you know I want teal. And I'm going to do this with, starting with this sponge. So you can see I've already used it with those same colors. These are the soft tools. Now, mostly with the soft tools, I use the ones like these, but for a big area, these spongy guys are pretty handy. And I'm going to load both the phthalo blue and the phthalo green together. I will mix these, and I can mix them, yeah, you guys can see, I can mix them right here. Just pick up some of both of those colors. And that's really mixed enough to go ahead and go onto my paper with. And so I'm going to start with this up here where it's lighter, and then I'll fade down to black. Oh, that's a pretty color. Now the matte will actually cut a lot of this off. You won't have this much of an open, I apologize, this camera always likes to stick, but it won't be this much open around the jellyfish. The matte will cut off the edges, but I'm gonna go ahead and fill all of it in, just so when I'm positioning it in the matte, I don't have to worry about, oh, I didn't go far enough, I didn't cover enough. So I always like to go a little bit farther out than you might think you need to be. And I'm gonna start picking up some black. I'm going to just come from the opposite side with the black. And I'm not going to go too crazy. I just want to get that nice soft transition between that black and that teal. But a lot of this, I'm letting the black of the paper show, so I don't have to be super solid. Now here, I have like a weird brush stroke I don't like, so I'm going to use the back of this and just lift some of that. There we go. I'm trying not to get too crazy going over the jellyfish with the black, because then it's going to mix in with the yellows and such as I go. So just to keep things nice and clean. I'm going to actually just use my hands to smudge that, which I don't often do. I like to try to keep my hands off the artwork as much as possible, but sometimes your hands can just blend better than anything else. So I just made sure my hands are nice and clean before I started this. Now, right now, I don't like that this is such a harsh line. I want to soften that out. I think I'm going to soften it by reloading with some of the teal color again by mixing phthalo blue and phthalo green. I'm going to pull it down a bit farther. Now another thing that will work, sometimes okay, sometimes it knocks too much of the product off the paper, but you can use a fluffy brush like this. But in this case, because I'm up against the black, if I knock too much of the black off, you're not even going to notice, so it doesn't really matter. So this is actually going to work better for me than usual for blending these. This lets me expose more of that dark paper. That gives me a softer transition. I like that a lot better. Okay. Now I'm going to wash this off my hands. I'm just going to take a little bit of paper towel and some water. Where is my water? There it is. Oh, we have, okay, gotta say it quietly as I wipe this off my hands. See if they notice. They don't. Gibson's messing ahead. We've got a super chat from Shyla. Oh, yep, they heard it. Wade knows the super chat word really well. That is not my brightest dog by a long shot. He knows, oh, he's going back to his bed. He's like, oh, there's no treat. I'll wait. No, you had it right, Wade. There's a super chat. Thank you so much, Shyla. Oh, I love that you have your actual pronunciation in your thing. That's helpful. Okay, you want a super chat? You were very good for laying back down, Wade. Look at him waiting. I wasn't sure if I was going to get it, so I went back down. Okay, you can have a super chat. Come. Good boys. Oh, you're just going to try to take it out of my hand, sir? I don't think so. That is very rude. Back up, back up. Back up so they can see your cute puppy faces. Okay, there you go. It's a new bag. It smells unfortunate. Yeah, you think it tastes extra good though, huh? But you also eat poop, so there's that. Okay, fun conversation. Thank you, Shyla. Boys, go lay down. Go lay down. 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 There's no dog in a bed. None. Go lay down. Lay down. Slowest race dogs ever. This is why you flunked racing school. Gibson, down. Thank you again, Shyla. She said, I love so much when you use pastels. I learned so much. That's awesome. Thank you. Okay, back to work. So we've got this nice background. I'm really happy with it. However, I know for a fact I got some of the black on there. I'm going to take my eraser and just lift a little bit. I can't see it, but I know that there's black there. And just to keep my yellow as clean as possible when I come on top of that, I'm going to go ahead and lift some of that right now. Again, this seems pointless because you can't see that I'm really erasing much, but I know when I blended, I got some on the jellyfish. So let's just lift some of that up now, and then I don't have to worry about getting smudges where I don't want them later. Because when yellow and black mix together, you get a really unfortunate green tone that you usually don't like that much. So I don't like that much anyway. I'm going to go ahead and switch blending tools. I always recommend when you get the soft tools, get the big pack of soft tool covers. It is so annoying when you go to work and you realize you're out of the cover you need. So I try to keep a lot of these all the time. They're not terribly expensive. And they last, I think, I mean, you guys know I do a lot of art. I've probably only had to buy new covers, maybe not even once a year. Like, they last a long time, but you want them ready to go. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and just put the cover over that. Try not to rip it this time. I always rip these. Come on. There we go. So we've got a nice clean cover on there, and I'm going to start with the base colors on the jellyfish. Now, this paper, one of the things that often happens when you work on colored paper, especially if you're working with colored pencils are very translucent. The higher the oil base content, so like your polychromos are going to be your most translucent. But and sometimes it's just easier to work on black paper. You get this nice dark background, but that means your color is not going to be as vivid. So one of the bonuses of doing the pan pastels first is these go down super opaque. So when I go on top with my colored pencil, it's going on top of this instead of the black paper. My color is going to be much, much brighter for that end result. And I'm going to be using a combination of this one. This color is Dairy Light Yellow. Who named this? Dairy Light Yellow. That's not what I would have named it, and I am never going to remember that. And white. Although my white, now this is, you saw how I was mixing my pan pastels straight on the palette, and you can see this is actually way dirty. The camera is somewhat overexposed, but it is dirty, dirty in person. You can see all these smudges of color. All I need to do, just wipe that out. If it gets to where it's like too much, it just wipes right out. Done. Problem solved. So I know some people get weird about having the pan pastels get dirty. I don't have a problem with it. I just wipe it out if I need to. Okay. So I've got some white and the made up name for that yellow. And I'm going to start with look at how bold that is. Like, my colored pencils, if I went straight on, would not be quite this bold. Not that opaque. And so this is the bonus, and it'll be even more opaque when I go over it with the colored pencils. I'm going to do another load of that. And you can see a little bit of the black paper through, but not nearly like I would if I did just the colored pencil. I'm going to pull a little bit down because we're going to fade some of that color. We get this beautiful transition. Now I'm going to start adjusting the color a little bit. So what I've done, I've got my paper towel. An old t-shirt works really well, but I'm just going to wipe some of that color off, and I'm going to load straight white. Let's start correcting our actual, hold on, what am I getting messages for? Do I need these right now? Seeing if these are, apparently I'm bored right now, so my friend wants me to make him post for tomorrow. I'm guessing he knows I'm live streaming, so he thinks I should, yeah. Okay, so let's go ahead and add a bit of white here. We've got white that comes through this way. And now I'm going to start switching to these darker oranges, and then we'll get into the magentas. So let's go with this. Let's see what they named this one. I'm actually curious now because, oh, orange. They kept that with C. That one makes sense. Dairy made up word, yellow did not. So as I come over to this direction, I'm going to start adding a little bit more with the orange. Now you have to be careful. If you start working this too much, you can start knocking some of the pan pastels off, and too much of that underlying black will show through more than what I want. Let's add some red to the orange to start making it darker. So you can see as I add this, don't just keep blending and blending and blending. Just get a little bit on there, use a very light hand. And And then I'm going to go ahead and come on top with orange and my magenta mixed together. We'll get this pink color for the cap of the jellyfish. And I will define its shape better when I come on top with the colored pencils for sure. And I'm going to use just straight magenta and start pulling that down some of his little streamers. And this is really overexposed. Let me see if I can adjust this a bit. I know, the theme of every video I make, this is overexposed. Let's see. That is actually really close. Might be a little too dark. Probably there. I think that gives us a somewhat better. Yeah, we'll go with that. And then when I start with the colored pencils, I'll zoom in a bit more. Okay. So all of this I'm going to do with the pencils because it's such a small area. Actually, I'm almost ready for the pencils. So I'm going to take some more of the white. We're going to reload this a bit. A little bit as I come down. Okay. I think we're good. That gives us, oh no, I lied. I want a little bit more white. Actually, I'm going to do two things. I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to mist it with the fine mist sprayer. Yeah, because I'm going through, the white's not really sticking. It just, I can't talk, blending in with the yellow. So what I'm going to do is take my fine mist sprayer. Now I use Spectrafix, and I put it in a fine mist sprayer because if I stick this or spray just from the Spectrafix bottle, it's more prone to having big droplets come out. So by putting it in a fine mist sprayer, you get smaller droplets, less likely to have those big chunks. Now, those big chunks are going to happen no matter what, just not as likely in one of these. And I'm just very lightly go over that. See, you can see there was, oh, you can't see. Maybe you can see on here. Let me see if this will show. I want you to be able to see what I'm talking about. These, see where I move it, where the shine marks are? See how some of those are pretty heavy? That, if it still shows once it's dry, I'm just going to blend over it lightly. But it's not that many areas, so if it does show, it's very easy to cover. Nope, we are good. Now, going over this with the Spectrafix serves a couple of purposes. One, it seals this down so it's less likely to smudge, less likely to lift. Or no, let me take that back, using the hairdryer. Let's start that whole little thing over again. So I sprayed it so that this layer will not be as likely to lift up. That means when I go over it with the colored pencils are going to stick better. But even here, I want to put a little bit more white. The white wasn't sticking that well. It was just mixing. I had so much on there with the yellow. Now that that's been sealed down a bit, it is going to stay put better. Now, if I run my hand across this, you're going to get a big smudge. When I say it seals it down, I'm not talking like a varnish where it's permanent like that. It still could smudge, but it's more solidified to the paper. And then the hairdryer served a couple of purposes. One, it sped things up. Two, it made the paper that kind of warped a little bit. The Canson Me10s that I'm working on, this will warp when it gets wet. But because it's taped down, when I use the hairdryer, it dries very quickly and it dries completely back flat into shape. And we've got a, oh, say it quietly, from Kristen. Thank you, Kristen. Oh, no one noticed. Your heads are both cut off. What is happening with that camera? Do you boys want a super chat? I'm going to go with a yes on that. Okay, back up. You're crowding me. Oops. Say thank you, Kristen. She said, happy doggies. Yes. Oh, yeah, you are. Oh my gosh, Gibson had major chatters and major drool. Good job. And that's why I have tile floors and not carpet. You think it's for the art, the mess with that. No, it's for the animals. Okay, good boys. Go lay down. Go lay down. Down. Thank you, Kristen. These two were waiting. I don't know if you saw my story over on Instagram. They were both waiting in their beds way early for, like, they know when I start setting up, this is their favorite day of the week for sure. Gibson, lay down. All the way. Oh. Okay, here, let's see. From Kathy Davis said, hi, Lisa and doggies, enjoy the treats. Thank you, Kathy. Here. You want another super chat? They're like, why didn't you just give it when I was standing there? Because this is fun, huh? See, thank you so much. Okay, that's a really little one. Let me get another one. That's too small to rip in half, huh? So that would be cheating. That's not fair. There you go. Good boys. Don't drool. Oh, God, Gibson. Oh, my gosh. I will be mopping tomorrow. Thank you so much, Kathy. Okay, good boys. Out. Nope, nope, nope. Go lay down. Go lay down. No, lay down. 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 Wade, where are you going? You can't get in the same bed. That isn't going to work out. Gibson, lay down. There, yeah. Since Wade apparently just edged you right on out. Thank you again, guys. Okay. So this is sealed down enough. I'm going to go on top with a bit more white. Just along this edge. See how it sticks better because I sealed it a bit with the Spectrafix. Just right along there. There we go. It really makes that stand out more. So I'm going to spray it one more time lightly. And then dry that, and we can start with colored pencils. And if you have questions, leave them now. I'll be answering all of these at the end of the live stream. And let's go ahead and put these away. And while I put these away, you can get a message from the boys. Without treats, these puppies are so sad. Your Patreon pledge of only $4 or more gives them cookies of happiness. Act now, and the bad cow gets a treat too. Oh, and you also get over 300 art lessons and a new one every single week, plus other rewards. Sign up at patreon.com/Lachri. I don't know what you're all alert for right now, Gibson. Be calm, boy. Okay, so now you can see it. We've basically lost the one camera because all my stuff is in front of it. Actually, I wonder if it would help the stream to be smoother. Let me deactivate this camera right now. Since we're not using it right now anyway, let's see if that will make a difference. I guess we'll find out. Let's see if this ends up, it's pretty smooth right now. You can see my hand over here, but it's pretty smooth right now. That is a little weird, but okay. Okay. So before we move on to the colored pencil thing, I'm going to do my typical self-advertisement. YouTube doesn't share my content anymore, and actually kind of interesting. So some of you guys may be interested in this yourselves. I'm having a better luck with Instagram Reels and reaching people there than I am on YouTube by a long shot. And I have way more followers on YouTube. Like, I don't know what's going on with YouTube. Yesterday it was like 253 subscribers for the last month. Just to give you an idea, I used to get 4,000 subscribers a month, now 250. Like, it's not sustainable. You can help me and every artist, every YouTuber, not every YouTuber, all the artists I know are struggling with this right now. YouTube's algorithm does not play nicely with our stuff. And I'm hearing, you know, people are looking for tutorials. They're looking for it, but we don't rank. If I do a search for, let's say, acrylic painting, I get the same 5 videos every time. One of which is a guy giving so much misinformation about acrylic paints, it's painful. And that ranks. Probably because what he's saying is different than everybody else, so it ranks well. But it's different because it's wrong. Like, he's so painfully inaccurate. He usually is, but it's bad in that one. He just made crap up. But anyway, point is, this is such a problem right now with YouTube and the way that their search feature works. We do a search and we think that they're showing us, oh, that's all that's available, but it's not. There are hundreds and thousands of videos for art that they're not showing us. My videos aren't being shown to you, and videos from other artists that I want to see, I can't find them. They don't show up anymore. They just don't rank. And so the thing that you can do to help is just share our content. The more you watch our content, like if YouTube shows you one of my videos and you skip over it, I get penalized for it. That sounds like I'm telling you you're hurting me, but I'm not trying to say it that way. That's just the way the YouTube algorithm works. But you can do the opposite. If you click on the video, if you leave a comment on, and not just me, any artist you know, leave a comment on our videos, it really, really helps us. Leaving a comment helps us more than anything else. And sharing the content. You can help us so much by doing those things. But also, I am posting more over on, of course, MeWe, but also on Instagram. I've been playing with their algorithm a little bit more. I switched over to a creator account, and it opened up some things I can see, the like behind the scenes stuff, so kind of interesting. But yeah, again, if you can share our comment on anything, whether it be here or Instagram, commenting on somebody's post does so much. Like, it's really helpful. So anyway, that is a big thing. And could it be the tags, Olivia said? No, and that's the tags don't even work that much anymore. Even on Instagram, the tags on YouTube don't work. Like, they're pretty much useless. The only thing tags on YouTube are, according to YouTube, are useful for is, let's say somebody spelled something different. So like colored spelled in the US is different than how it's spelled in the UK. So like colored pencil, I would want to put both spellings in the tags. Tags don't do, I mean, we use them anyway, but they don't do any good anymore. The search feature doesn't work anymore. YouTube's algorithm is very weird, and I don't know, this is a theory, I don't know if it's worse because some of the bigger, some channels, or I shouldn't say bigger channels, older channels seem to be having a harder time. And I have to wonder, YouTube, what they do is, and we're going to get back to this art project in just a moment here, but what they do is they send out, so let's say I have a new video go up, they're going to send it to 100 of you. And depending on how many of you click that video determines how many more people they're going to show it to. So if no one clicks it of my subscribers, then they don't share it to more people. But I have to wonder, because I've got, what, 330 something thousand subscribers on YouTube, and that sounds great, except most of them are old. I mean, my channel has been here since, what, 2012? It's a very old channel. A lot of those people don't do art anymore. They don't watch YouTube anymore, whatever. They're not active on the platform anymore. So I'm like, is YouTube just sharing my content with users that are not active? Like, who are you sharing this with? Because it seems to be older channels are really suffering right now from all of this. So it's a challenge, that's for sure, but you can help a lot by sharing our content, commenting on our content. And again, not just me, any artist, you can help us all. Comment, share, like, we all ask for that, but it's like more useful than you could possibly imagine. So if you can do that, love you forever. Thank you so much. And all of the artists that you do that to, I'm sure they're like seriously thankful for that. So anyway, we're going to get back to the art now after I get a drink of iced tea. Oh, speaking of the Aquatic Morning Show, hi! So this Friday, 9 a.m., I was supposed to be on it a couple weeks ago, but we had these huge storms, and she's in Louisiana. They knocked out her power and then knocked out her internet that took forever. Anyway, I'm going to be on the show this Friday now, 9 a.m. for 2 hours. I don't even know what we're talking about. So, I mean, I'm guessing fish, but I have nothing prepared, so this will be fun. It's just like a casual chat. You can see her other channel, the Aquatic Morning Show. She does interviews with, well, aquatic is the subject. So that will be lots of fun. Friday, 9 a.m. Okay, now let's go ahead and get back to this. We're starting on colored pencil now. So what I'm going to do, because I am going to want to rest my hand on this, I need a piece of glassine. And I've got one hiding over here somewhere, except I lost it. I had it. There it is. So when I get these pieces of glassine, I just reuse them. You can see this one's ripped. I've been reusing this one for weeks. So I'm going to put that on there. just tape it to my board, and this is going to allow me to very comfortably rest my hand as I work. So let's see what colors I'm going to need. I'm going to go with more, for most of this, I'll be using my Caran d'Ache Luminance and my Derwent Light Fast, because these are going to be my more opaque colors, whereas the polychromos, they're great for fine details, but on black paper, they don't show up as well. They show up, but not as well. I'll keep the polychromos more for my thinner, more translucent areas. So I need white. There we go. This one's Arctic, close enough. And let's just pull a bunch of these colors right now. I need some yellows and cream colors. I want yellows that are closer to orange. I don't really want the yellows that are closer to green on the color wheel because I'm going up against black. The black is already going to make that yellow look closer to green when I go on top of it. So I don't want a yellow. For example, this yellow here is called lemon yellow. It's got, I don't know if it'll show on, probably not. The color is definitely closer to green on the color wheel than to orange. I want closer to orange to help counter what the black paper is naturally going to do. So we'll grab that. We'll grab some actual orange. I think this one's, yep, that one's actually named orange. Therefore, I love it because they gave me a simple name. We need some heather. I'm going to need to use some Derwent Light Fast because they've got the really good purples and pinks, or at least purples. Oh, there's a magenta I need by Caran d'Ache though. Luminance, where is it? Here we go. This one is called Purplish Red. And that one is the same one. Oh, I don't even have a pencil sharpener over here. I am not as prepared as I think I am at all. Okay, we'll start with these colors. So I've just got a mixture of purples, yellows, more magentas, yellows, oranges, pinks, and I need to grab a pencil sharpener really quick. Oh, that one's probably not good. Okay. I've got multiple sharpeners and a mason jar for my shavings. I always save these jars like that come with pasta sauce and stuff. They are great for everything art. I store pencils in them. I use them as a sharpener or to hold my shavings when I sharpen the pencils. Okay, so I'm going to start with the yellows and oranges. So I'll get you guys sharpened really quick. Just what you wanted to do, watch someone sharpen pencils. Is it like watching paint dry? Seems like kind of the same concept. Again, if you have any questions, leave them now. If it feels like I'm ignoring you, it's only because we save the questions. I go through and answer them at the end of the stream. Another thing, or actually two more notices before I get on to this. I'm going to be changing the prices of my Patreon. So if you have been considering signing up for Patreon and you want to lock in the current prices, which are $4 is the lowest tier and it goes up to $19 depending on what rewards you want. But $4 gets you all the videos every time. Like I don't hold any of those back. So I would sign up now because those prices are going to go up by $1 or $2 in a couple of months. So there's a fungus gnat flying around in here, but letting you guys know that now. So anyone who is currently signed up, when those prices change, as long as you're signed up, yours won't change. Yours is going to stay at whatever it is that you currently are. But anyone signing up after that is going to have the higher rates because yay, inflation. So, and actually I blame inflation, but I realistically have not raised my prices since 2014. So it's been a while. And what else? The cost of everything, stamps, everything has gone up on my end. So just to try to keep that the same, I'm not trying to give myself a raise. Sounds nice, but that's not what's happening here. I'm just trying to pay for postage and all of the other services I pay for. What was the other thing? There was one more notice. That was the Patreon price. I don't remember. We'll come back to it when I remember what it is. Okay. So let's go ahead. We've got to start defining this better. I'm going to start with the cap actually. So let's get the white. Start pulling the shape to find that really well. And we've got these pinks. This one is, oh, I can never say this one. I don't know what it's called. It's like every letter in the alphabet. It's a coral color. I don't know who they hired to name these things. And we've got these lines that come up. They're almost little triangles, so they're thin as they get to the top. And I want to make sure that they're curving. Now, mine do not have as many as the actual reference photo does because this is really tiny. And this is what fits. You don't need to have it exact, and that's really important with this. As long as you're close, you're good. This coral color that has way too long of a name really shows up well on this paper. And I need a darker color. Actually, I need a darker reddish tone. Yeah, that one works well, so let's sharpen that. I think, is this scarlet? Yeah, that's scarlet. The reference photo is located over at my website if you want to see that or draw along with me. I'm going to curve that red, that scarlet, right around here. And you can see it shows up really well against that black. Actually, let's zoom in a little bit here. You can see that a bit better. Just defining the shape there. Mine's a little bit poofier at the top than my reference photo. The reference photo is flattened out. Let's see how well the orange shows up. Actually, the apricot, I think that one is apricot. Yeah, apricot will probably show up really, yep, that shows up great. So we actually have some of that red. Let's pull you down a little bit more. And this darker color lines up with the lighter color lines on top. Actually, not all of them do. I take that back. That's a dirty lie. And let's pull some orange in there. So we just have this gorgeous transition of all these colors. That's the big thing here, is just get all of these colors in there. Get the variation. This is not solid one color anywhere. We've got these little ruffles. Now, some of these I will definitely be going over with other color. I'm not going to leave this. Okay, so this actually looks like I'm using white on there. That is way overexposed. How many times can I say that? But it is, the color is this is more of a coral color. I'll show you again a bit later. Yeah, that is really pretty in person, really vibrant. I'm going to switch over to Heather. I think this one is Heather. Oh no, this one is ultramarine pink. Heather is light, Derwent Light Fast, that's right. Actually, let's see if Heather would look better. Being that it's the color I thought I was using. They're both very similar colors. Yeah, these are still looking white. Again, they're not. I'll just tell you what color I'm using as I go. I don't know if that's something I can fix the saturation of. Oh, yeah, actually, that's, well, it's better. It's closer, but it's still not perfect. I don't know why those are that flat white. That's kind of. Yeah, it's still not really showing the pretty colors that I'm doing on here up against the black paper. The camera is like, yeah, that's just white. Make sure to get some ridges in here because we have these, it's almost like a ruffled look. Not all of them, but a lot of them are. I need a teal color, but I need it to be fairly translucent. So I'm going to go with one of the polychromos. Oops, I'm going to throw some pencils on the floor first. And I'm going to go right in the center. And this lets the black show through so it looks like it's more translucent right in between that ruffle. And I don't want to cover all the black in here. Again, going to do the same thing. Pull that turquoise color. This one is bluish turquoise. Some more ruffles. We want to make it look like it's twisting, and so to make that look like the ruffle or the long streamers are turned, see how it comes to a point and then it fans back out, so you get that look like it's twisting. And we've got to pull these down quite a ways. So these will actually go off where the mat is. Let's grab some of the magenta, and I want to let that fade up into the orange. Some more little squiggles in there, technical term, for the ruffles. And that is a little bit too bold there, so I'll just go over it with the orange and tone it down. And I want to make it look like the background comes through here, so I'm going to pull some of that turquoise up a bit more. And I'm going to do some of these streamers with just this magenta. And then I can pull highlights over that. So it's very, very subtle right now, but it will need highlights. Right now, the streamers are all, most of them as I've gone down, they're solid one color, like all magenta down or all of the coral color down. So what I've done is like here where it's more coral, just at the top, added a bit of magenta. So it fades now from that magenta into the coral. It's two tones there. It looks so, this is definitely, unfortunately, one of those that looks so much better in person than it is on camera. So I'll have to get photos of it to show you guys. I apologize for that. Same thing, I'm going to pull some of that apricot. Let's get some variation in some of these. And if you want more detail in your work, work larger. So this is a 5x7, which does limit me on how much detail I'm able to get. But if you like more detail, go with a bigger piece. The bigger it will obviously take longer, but it'll also allow you for more room for a lot of detail if that's something you're looking for. A lot of the pieces you see online that are hyper realistic, where you can't tell the difference between that and a photograph, those are typically really, really large pieces. But keep in mind, those really large pieces take forever. So you've got to have a lot of patience if that's what you're looking to do. Let's see how I want to get that to fade down with these colors. And I'm trying to make it so they're not all super thin. I want these as they trail off to have some of the blue in between, so they're a bit thicker. You've got some variation of the tentacles in here. The ones in the center are more ruffly, very thick, and then the ones on the outside are just your thin, skinny, skinny lines. We'll get some of those thin lines just with the blue too. I'll have to come back through with highlights on that so it's not too flat. Now keep in mind too, you have these thicker ones in the center. Right now, all of my little skinny lines, I don't have any going in front of that. These thin lines go all the way around the cap of the jellyfish. So I need to start pulling some thin ones in front of that. think that coral color that I can't say the name of would actually work really well. Oh yeah, that's definitely going to be the color of choice here. I'm going to mix some of the magenta in with that. Again, variation is so important. Anytime you're doing anything with nature, you want a lot of variation. You don't want just solid one color. We want variation in the movement. We want variation, otherwise it looks really stiff. We want variation in the colors. And not even so much the colors as the values. And that's where a lot of people struggle when they're trying to make something look realistic, is that they make it look very flat because they think it's all about finding the one perfect color. You could use a completely different set of color pencils as me and still have it look pretty much the same if your values are correct. Are your darks dark enough, your lights light enough? That's what's going to make the biggest difference in your work looking realistic, no matter what it is you're trying to do. You can have the most perfect line drawing. Everything's just drawn exact. But when you start filling in the color, it suddenly looks like a weird cartoon. That happens because your values are not correct. It's not about needing more detail. It's not about needing the perfect color. Let's say you're drawing a bunny. You could draw that bunny with nothing but purple colors and still have him look super realistic. He would just look like he's under purple lighting. If your values are correct, or your darks dark enough, your lights light enough, that makes all the difference in the world. So watch that in your artwork. And I'm going to come through and really pull out some highlights with the white in a few spots. Don't do what English. Don't go too crazy with the white. I just here and there make those areas look a bit shiny. And this really isn't as obvious for you guys, again, because the color's not showing for you. I've got these beautiful colors down here that are just, yeah, the camera is giving me the finger on that. Let's get some more purples. Let's see how well this shows up. I'm really not sure how that will do. I really want more of pink. That is one thing with colored pencils. There aren't a lot of like pinks. We've got magentas, we've got some of these darker colors, but as far as pink, I think Polychromos might have some. Yeah, Polychromos has got some decent ones. Let's grab them. But of course, they're going to be more translucent because it's Polychromos. And I say that like it's a negative thing, and that's not what I mean. It just depends on what you're going for. Right now, I'm trying to get more opacity up against the black paper, but no one has nice pink, light pink colors like Polychromos does. That actually works really well, though. So we're going to feather up some of these thicker inner ones. Now, the other thing, be careful that you don't overdo too many colors. If you get too crazy, it just looks like crayons exploded onto your paper. That is not the look we're going for. Less colors are easier to get them to look cohesive, like they're supposed to go together. Oh, I know what I wanted. Violet with the Caran d'Ache, or not Caran d'Ache, with Derwent Lightfast. You will work. And you're already sharpened. It's like you were meant to be. There we go. It just is very dark, so. I'm going to break up a few spots in here with that violet, so it looks like the background showing through a bit more. And I'm not going to do really defined bubbles on this like I often do. I'm just going to do some little speckles, just hints, because this guy is off in the distance. It doesn't make sense to have these super in focus bubbles like I normally do with underwater scenes. It would draw attention to the bubble instead of the jellyfish. So I want some speckles, but not crazy. I'm going to use the purple to tone some of these down so they're more subtle. Oh, this guy just glows. He looks so good in person with these colors. I'll try to show you on the other camera. Let's see if that shows for you guys, actually. I love the way these colors have come out. So you can see now in those streamers, you've got just this rainbow of colors that is so pretty. I am super happy with this, and I wish you could see on the main camera how good this looks, because it is just, yeah, if this doesn't sell, it is definitely going on my own wall. Actually, where is my, I lost my phone. How did I lose? Oh yeah, I remember moving it now. I remember moving it, I just don't remember where I moved it to. Oh, there it is. I moved it because I didn't want the Spectra fix on it. There we go. Okay. So I'm going to use a combination of some of the colors I already have and just throw some specks on there. Not the bigger bubbles like I often do. But I still want to kind of group them together like bubbles might be. So similar to stars. Like when you draw, one of the mistakes a lot of people do when they draw or they try to hand paint in stars is it ends up looking like even polka dots everywhere. When you have stars, when you have bubbles, they're going to group and cluster together. And so we want to make sure that we're capturing that. I'm going to pull a little bit more with the white. I'm going to use my own hand as, you can't really see, but I'm kind of crossing my hands in front of this so I can rest one hand on the easel, one on my other arm. I'm using my own arm as a maul stick so I can rest it because I don't want to grab the glassine. I may need to though. Yeah, I'm going to need to. I need to stop being lazy. My arm maul stick failed me. But what a maul stick is, if you're not familiar with them, oh, I don't know where mine is. It's a pull, think broomstick with a nub on the end that's softer. You can rest it against your easel, or people rest it against the painting. I don't do that. I just put it against my easel. But it lets you rest your hand on something without it being on the artwork. So like an oil painter, when you've got wet paint, this is a great way to steady your hand without you. There's no other way to do that, to rest it. Here, I can just stop being lazy and grab the glassine. But the maul sticks can be pretty handy. Like an old broomstick works well too. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. Now, I'm not going to pull these highlights too far down because the matte is going to cut part of that off. And if I come down too far with the brightest highlights, even though my reference photo calls for it, what it's going to do is draw your attention off the paper. I don't want to do that. I want to keep you within the piece as much as possible. So I'm not going to make this very bright as I move my way down. I'm going to keep most of the brightness up in this area. So as I add these highlights, just a few. I want these really light. I'm not pushing hard. So some of these, I've got really thick lines, and some of these, the pencil is sharper. I'm just letting those fade off in the distance. Let's add some of the blue too. Same things. They're just out there in the distance. It just adds a lot more depth. And again, you can't see those, but there we go. That is it. And now for signing this, what I'm going to do, I've got a matte over here that I keep using. This one is a white matte. This is not the color I would recommend if somebody does bid on this. I recommend you go with the black matte because this white one, I'm pretty sure, is going to really look bad. Yeah, it draws way, it kind of works. Yeah, I don't know. That could work. But anyway, the reason that I'm putting the matte there, actually I'm going to position this more like that. I want to know where to sign my piece. If I were to sign it right at the bottom, it's going to get cut off by the matte. This is designed to be a 5x7, which is what this matte is. So I'm going to hold that up. Like that. And what color do I want to sign this with? Let's try Heather. Actually, Heather's going to be too bright, I think. Let's go magenta, and I can add highlights if I need to. Do I want it here or here? I'm going to go here. Yeah, I like that. The signature, okay, you can't really see it on that one. I'll show you on this camera. The signature is very subtle, but it's clearly there. Like it's, well, you can't see super clear here, but here are the colors. This came out so, honestly, it's better than I thought I was going to get in this time frame. So yeah, I am in love with this one. This is one of my favorites I have done for sure. So there is the colorful jellyfish. I apologize that it looks terrible color-wise on here. You're just missing all of the magentas and pinks. It just looks like white. So that is certainly off, but yeah, there we go. Varnish. There will not be a varnish on this. This one is sealed. I've already put the spray down with the Spectrafix. That's really all it needs. This needs to be framed behind glass. It will come if somebody bids on this. Link is in the video description. I'm not going to be upset if you don't, because kind of want this on my own wall. But this one is going to be in a 5x7 matte, which makes the overall outer size an 8x10. So you just pop this into any 8x10 frame and it's ready to go on your wall. I have all of those things here for myself if I end up keeping it. So bonus there. Okay. So one of the things I want to talk to you guys about tonight, I was thinking about this a lot with a painting I'm currently working on. There are so many challenges we run into when we see that blank canvas or a blank piece of paper. On one side, we post, and we see a lot of people post on Instagram. I post like this too. Like, oh yay, there's so many possibilities. You see a blank canvas and there are so many possibilities. And that is true. And that is an emotion I often feel when I look at that blank canvas. But also the emotion of, where do I even start? It's kind of like when you're going to clean out your closet and you look in there and it's just, everything's been shoved in there for years and it's like, I don't even know where to start on this. That feeling is really normal when you're getting started on a project. So the painting that I've been working on lately is a marine life for my own office. I want this hanging on a specific place in the office. So I knew what colors I needed to go with. I knew I needed to go fairly light because it is a very dark room. So in order to see anything, I've got to go with the more daylight type scenes or colors. I knew that I wanted my canary tuna in it. I want to have my red-eye tree frog glitch floating on a bottle in the water. I knew certain elements that I wanted, but every time I would get started, and those of you who are on my Patreon Discord, you know what I have been, the constant like back and forth. Should I do that? Should I do this? And I haven't started yet. It took me like 2 weeks to even get started. I spent 2 weeks planning, finding reference photos. So there's many things to learn from this project that I wanted to share with you. Every time I think of every time I'm kind of jump over another hurdle, I'm like, oh, I need to share this with you guys because this could help you to know this is normal. But with this project, I took it more seriously than I often do because it's, for me, it's going on my wall. I've got to like this. If I don't, I mean, it's going on my wall. I'm going to be looking at it a lot. It's in my office, so I'm really looking at it a lot given that I work every day. So I took forever getting started. And I didn't, even once I had all the reference photos that I needed to get started, one of my least favorite parts about starting a painting is getting the background done. Once I get the background done, I'm addicted and I just can't step away from it. Like I'll paint nonstop. I did that yesterday and the day before. But getting started is such a challenge. One of the things you've got to do is tell yourself, I'm just going to get started. Get the reference photos you need, but I'm just going to, even if it's, I'm going to paint for half an hour tonight or draw for half an hour. I just need to do 30 minutes and then I can stop. When you're in that place of, I don't know where to start, I don't know what I want to do, anything, even if it was just painting a blank, solid grayish purple that I needed for my background, that alone would have been something. Do something, do anything. It is better than sitting back going, I don't know where to start. And even with me, I know where to start. I've done marine paintings a million times. I know exactly where to start. And even me, I look at that going, but I don't know where to start. Like, it's just such a normal part of the process. So don't be discouraged when that moment hits. But what you've got to do is give yourself 30 minutes. Just tell yourself, I just need just 30 minutes at the easel. Chances are, even if you're not in the mood to paint, you're not in the mood to draw, that 30 minutes will be enough to get you started. And then you're going to be in the mood. Then you're going to be excited to get going. But once you start, and this is the piece that I've been working on, just so you can get a visual here. This is how far I've gotten on this one. It is a 30-inch round. It's a Frederick's Convexo canvas. And you can see there's tuna. I mean, even with tuna, my canary, I didn't know, do I want to paint him more yellow like he currently is? But he's a red factor, so when he gets the proper diet, for when he molts again, he'll be more red. I went back and forth. I was so hung up on every possible choice I could make on this painting. Do I want this? Do I want that? Do I just start? And that's the other thing, which is huge. It is very, very common to get so hung up on the details, so hung up on every choice. Do I want it this way? Do I want it that way? Do I want this background? Do I want that background? That you just don't get anywhere. make a decision, go, this is not going to be your final painting or drawing. And this is something that I've seen a lot with students when I worked with them in person. They would spend days trying to figure out what project they wanted to even start. So they're paying me at the time, so this was a long time ago, so you know, $20 is a good amount of money for a 2-hour class. They're paying me $20 so they can sit there looking at photos for 2 hours. You could have done that at home. You didn't need me for that, but they couldn't settle on something. And I was running into that to an extent on this one. And I had to even stop myself and go, this isn't the last painting I'm going to do. This is not that big of a deal. When you hit that wall of, I can't decide what to do next, I can't decide where to go forward, or this isn't your only painting. You're going to paint hundreds of paintings after this. Pick something and do it. Get started. And in my case with that painting, once I got started, the entire, where is it? There we go. The sky and the entire underwater portion, the rays of light, the sand bed, all of that was done in a single night. It was a long night. I was up till 3 in the morning, but I got that done in one night because once that brush hit the canvas and I got started, I just started with the sky and then worked my way forward. I was hooked. Now I had somewhere to go. I knew what I was doing. Once I was no longer just staring at a blank white canvas. Then the next day, yesterday, which is not even one of my normal painting days, I was just so hooked on this. I got glitch painted in. I'll see if I can zoom in so you can see glitch a bit more. That is the wrong image. There we go. But I got, let's see. You can see a bit better. I got glitch painted in on the bottle. I got tuna painted in. I got the water painted. Now, none of that is done. I need to get the bottom portion of the water painted in so I can then come back and adjust my values and details on these subjects. But I got all that done yesterday. This is 2 days worth of work, which is saying that's a decent amount of work on a painting that is 30 by, 30-inch round. So it's a good size painting. So 30-inch painting, all of that done in 2 days, but I had to start. I spent 2 weeks, and realistically, while yes, I needed those reference photos, how much time did I waste because I couldn't make a choice? All I need, pick one and paint it. You can paint something else later if you don't like it. If you want something else, you want tuna in a different position, do it again later, but just get started. Why waste 2 weeks when I could have been working on this? I could have been working on, actually I was working on something because I had to get stuff done for Patreon. So your Inktense frog is now available for those of you who are waiting for a lesson. That is up now. But just get started on something. Don't waste time not being able to make decisions. Don't waste time looking at that blank canvas feeling intimidated by it, and that is a normal feeling. Just pick something, get started. The only way that you can waste your art materials, and I have seen people do this, they're just worried about wasting the materials. I get it, they're expensive. The only way you can waste your painting supplies, your drawing supplies, is to not use them. That is the only waste of those supplies, or to let the bad cow. Yeah, nope, wrong treats. Dog. There's the bad cow. Let the bad cow accidentally chew up a bottle of paint. That happened once. Luckily, it was acrylic, so it was non-toxic. But yeah, anyway, just pick something, paint something. Don't waste your art supplies by not using them. Also, speaking of, we've got Aline said, thank you, Lisa, for your dedication. And the boys, thank you for being so cute and enjoy. Good timing, because look at them. Look at those faces. Well, one face is off camera, but, you know, look at my headless dog and the bad cow. You boys want a super chat from Aline? I think they do. Thank you so much, Aline. See, we appreciate that. Oh my gosh, did you get another super chat? Is it a very happy day? These are super stinky super chats. Why are these ones so fragrant? There you go. Good boys. And all the drool, just, you can't see. You would think I had a Mastiff by the amount that Gibson can drool when treats come into play. That's it. That's all gone. Go lay down. Go lay down. Down, down, down. Or just keep staring at me. Hey, boys, lay down. Lay down. All the way. One, keep going. Gibson. Like they don't know the rules. Thank you again, Aline. Okay, let's go over your questions, if there were any. I don't have any right now. Let's see. Where do I get the boards that I tape my art to? Oh, I don't mind. I don't know if I have that in my link. You can get those on Amazon. These guys, it's just, actually, let's pull it back here so you can see it a bit better. But it's just one of those, it's got a clipboard thing at the top. I never use that. It damages the paper. Like I don't like the clippy part. So I just use regular tape, but they're hard. And I've had most of these for years. I have several because sometimes I've got multiple projects going at a time, but mostly for live stream stuff when I used to do like ongoing stuff. I had to keep buying more. But yeah, those are super handy. They're not super expensive. They make another one that's like in the $30 range. It's a thicker board. Those are okay too. I like them, but just these cheapy little, like, yeah, they just work well. Okay, let's go. Here's the questions. So Aline said, once again, oh, that just scrolled. Once again, thank you for all your dedication and passions. It's contagious. What advice do you give beginner artists who are trying to budget yet need quality art supplies? That's a good question. I actually have an answer for that one. So buy the quality, buy the best. So whether it be, let's say with colored pencil, Polychromos, the Caran d'Ache, Luminance, Derwent Lightfast, I would rather you get those than a crap ton of crap. Like let's say Arteza or all of these, a lot of these brands that are like primarily sold on Amazon. And that's not that you can't get the good stuff on Amazon. You can, obviously the links are in the video description, little plug there, but get a smaller set, get a set of 12 of the good stuff instead of a set of 150 of crap. Because those crap pencils, they make claims on them like they're light fast. Excellent light fast, excellent durability, excellent, like all these excellent terms. They don't do light fast testing. These companies, if you're not sure if a company really did light fast testing, but they're making the claim, check what their light fast ratings are. If they don't have marked on every pencil, like with the Caran d'Ache Luminance, I've got, this one is I'm blind so I can't see it. This one is a 2, light fast 2. So this one, I believe 2 makes it, what is the rating on a 2? A number 2 is like 50 to 75 years, 50 to something like that, before that color would fade when exposed to indirect light. That's a good pencil, but it tells you what it is on there. I just can't remember what those ratings mean right now, but it tells you on the pencil. Arteza or any of those other brands, they are very deceptive. There is a reason I will not use their products. I will not do videos for them. Not only their deceptive marketing practices, they actually, they get YouTubers to promote their products. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's actually a good idea that these companies are doing that. However, the YouTubers aren't necessarily disclosing the fact, or maybe the YouTubers didn't realize on their own, these products are not light fast. Like they didn't do light fast. That's not to say none of them can be light fast. It's just that they're not doing testing. So that means the majority of them are not going to be light fast. And they use these terms. It's kind of like, what are some of the terms that they'll use for natural? Something's all natural. Yeah, there's a lot of, and they make that term like with food, like, oh, it's all natural this. Okay, there are a lot of natural things that are unhealthy to consume. Being all natural, like sugar's all natural, that doesn't mean it's healthy. So they do the same type of deceptive marketing when it comes to art supplies. And I just want to warn you about that because it is so common that they try to make you think you can get 150 colors for the same price that you can get 20 colors of the good stuff. There's a reason they're so cheap. There's a reason for that. So yeah, less colors and learn to mix them. The thing that is so great about using less colors, you are going to learn so much more about color theory, about color blending you don't even have to read a color theory book. You're just going to learn it from trial and error because you've only got one yellow. You've only got one green, one blue, one red. You've got to figure out, okay, my red is too bright red. How do I tone this down? Well, if I add its complementary color, the green, or maybe a little bit of yellow, that's going to shift the color. You learn to mix, you learn to blend, you learn so much more from fewer colors. So it's not even just about the fact that you're saving money. You actually learn better by using less colors. And that is true no matter what medium you are working in. Fewer colors is normally what I recommend a student start with. If you get a set of 100 colored pencils, I would pick maybe, I don't know, 10 colors out of that set, 12 colors, and stick with those. Those are all you're going to use for your one painting or drawing. Even that may be on the high end. You could go even less, go 6 colors and make it work from a smaller set of colors. As you get more advanced, then add more colors to that set. But as you get it more advanced, let's say you're on a tight budget, so many of us are right now, you're on a tight budget. As you get more advanced, one color, an additional color at a time. Payday comes around, get a couple new colored pencils that you don't already have. Add those individual open stock colors to your set. But you're going to be using quality materials in that case, so you can sell your work and not worry about it not being light fast or being shady to your customers because they didn't know what light fast meant, and you are improving your work better. So fewer colors, quality supplies are what I recommend for those on. I recommend it for anyone, even if you're not on a budget. It's just a good idea. So that's my tip there. Alice said, what would be a good alternative for pan pastels for underpaintings? It depends on what you're doing. Like if it just mixed media in general with colored pencil, watercolor is my other favorite for mixed media and colored pencil. Like do your entire underpainting with watercolor, not on this paper. You would use a hot press watercolor paper in that case, but colored pencil sticks so well to watercolor. So great combination there. Inktense colored pencils don't stick as well. Watercolor definitely, there's something grippy like about it that I don't know, the pencils just stick beautifully to it. So that would be my other favorite. Elise said, what was your first medium that inspired you to continue art and practice mastering it? I would say acrylic. So when I first started, charcoal was all we could afford, like cheap, like what you would use on a chalkboard. We got it at like a CVS type pharmacy. I don't remember what it was called when I was a kid. I'm very old. It was not called CVS, but something like that. I remember it was on the corner of Town and Foothill in Claremont, California. Actually, I think that one was technically considered Pomona. But anyway, point is, I remember getting my chalkboard chalk and drawing with that. So that was probably my first medium and a number 2 pencil. But when I started painting or really getting into art, acrylics were my go-to medium. But for a lot of years, I did underpainting of cheap, like Crayola watercolor and then charcoal on top of that. So that was my other, like where I started. But when I started becoming professional, then it was acrylics. And largely for me, one of the reasons that acrylics I did so much, I wanted to sell the artwork. I had no way to store. I didn't know how to store charcoal. I didn't know how to store the watercolor. And I wasn't doing watercolor by itself, but the charcoal over the watercolor. And if I wanted to take it to a gallery to be sold, it had to be framed. I could not afford a frame. Whereas acrylics, I could get a canvas was cheaper. I could get a canvas and just paint the edges and hang it like that. So it was easier to store. It was easier to display. So I think that was part of why I was so heavy into acrylics at the time versus doing so much with the work on paper. But yeah, so that is where that started. Lavina said, my latest YouTube search was on colored pencils. I think that's how your channel popped up in my feed about 3 months ago. I joined your Patreon this month and can't wait to get all the mailed goodies. Yay! Thank you. Thank you for joining. Yeah, I think I rank better for colored pencil and Inktense than I do. Actually, I did a search the other night. I was looking for other acrylic paintings. One of my colored pencils came up. That is the thing. YouTube search is just so broken. They're like, no, we're providing people with the content that they're really looking for. Except I wasn't looking for colored pencil. Also, why are you showing me my own content in my search when I'm logged in? Like, that doesn't even make sense. I'm just, it's, yeah. Anyway, where are we? Addicted to Art said, I think you did a video on the fixatives. Does the brand you use darken the pastel color as I've noticed some other brands do? No, and that's one of the things that's the main reason that I go with the Spectrafix. It doesn't get darker. If it does, it is so minor. I have used other fixatives and it made the whites just disappeared and everything just went instantly dark. I remember being so frustrated by that when I used to do portraits in pastels. Because before I got weird about the way it feels on my hands, I actually used to work a lot in pastels years and years and years ago. I got really neurotic as I got older and can't stand the way it feels on my hands. But anyway, point is, I used to work with those a lot. And yeah, a lot of those fixatives, they darkened it a lot. And that's why a lot of artists who work in pastels don't use any fixatives. Not something I would recommend because over the years that does start to come off the paper. The fixative is a good idea. But the Spectrafix doesn't darken it. And you'd have to put it on really heavy. Like if you go super heavy, it would obviously darken it. You're getting it too wet. But you do these light layers, didn't darken mine at all. Let's see. Baby Pandas said, can you show us how you have your colored pencil organized in your drawers? Are they by brand, color, number, etc.? Yes, I can. Actually, let's pull a thing over here. I think I can get this camera. We'll just have to do a little bit of arranging. Let me see if I can do this without unplugging this. This might be a challenge. Or maybe. Okay, things are in the way. Don't unplug. This is not wanting to do what I want it to do. And down. So I have these boards and I unplugged it. Hold on. Let me reactivate that. That definitely got unplugged. But I don't know if it got unplugged from the computer or from Give it a second. Oh yeah, that is not plugged in. Hold on. Now I have to climb behind here and figure out which one unplugged. And you're plugged in. I don't know why you were pulling that far. You actually should have been able to reach. What is going on? Hold on. Having some technical difficulties at the moment. Give me just a second. This is definitely not doing what it is supposed to do. Why did you unplug? Let's see if that fixes it. Come on. Well, that is completely not working for... There we go. Okay. We've got it. So here are my drawers. This is where my colored pencils are. Let me... Whoops. Hold on, I got pop-ups all over the place. Stop. I don't need Microsoft stuff. Okay, finally, here we go. Camera is working. So I've got 3 of the 3 drawer pastel boxes. Let me zoom that out. There we go. So 3 of these 3 drawer pastel boxes, and I have them sorted by polychromos are in these ones. The top drawer is polychromos, the next one are my Caran d'Ache luminance, and then the bottom one are my Derwent Lightfast. So it's organized by brand, and then within each brand, some of these are kind of messed up, they're sorted by color. So these are the Caran d'Ache. And it just kind of goes in a rainbow. Like, actually, these ones are probably the easiest to see. So I've got them mostly, I mean, it's not perfectly lined up. It's like all of the reddish purples and purples are here, oranges, reds, yellows. So as long as it's close, so I'm not spending too long trying to find pencils when I know that I want a purple polychromos. Again, there's, that moves on, still with the polychromos, and then all of the browns and grays. So that is how I store all of these guys based on color and brand. Okay, let's see if I can put this back where it was. Back to the jellyfish that is so overexposed and looks so pretty in person, and I wish you could see that as well as I can. Okay, 1 second, I need tea. And that jellyfish is still available over on my website. There you go again, so you can see the actual color. So pretty, so many colors. Okay. Where was I? Fly Me to the Moon said, how would you get details with oil pastels? Colored pencil. So you do the base with, well, there's a few different ways you can go with oil pastels. So you can do the oil pastels, and you can use tools like a stylus or just anything to scrape up some of the previous layers. So if you plan it out right, it's almost like scratchboard, where you've got your base layers and then you can scratch the upper layers, exposing those base layers. So that would be one way. Another way is to use colored pencil on top to clean up certain details and get like really fine, smaller areas. Alice said, I heard that orange is the most disliked color in the world. Is that true? I think it's yellow. I think yellow is more disliked than orange. Well, no, wait, let me take that back. I think that the yellow being the most disliked is by artists. Like there was some study that said artists really disliked yellow, which is funny because it's my mom's favorite color. Let's see. Addicted to Art said, I've noticed no sharpeners are on the list. I know each pencil goes better with different pencils. Each pencil, I think, sharpeners, but not the ones you were using. They're just the Coombe metal sharpeners, and I should put that on my list. I don't know why they're not there, but yeah, it's just the little metal Coombe. These little handheld guys. That's what I use. Lavina said, do you sketch out your ideas first, like thumbnails, before you put it on canvas? So I either sketch them out on a sketch pad, or in this case, for the one that I'm doing with, where is it? This guy, I designed the majority of it, like the whole underwater portion and then the sky, that was all done in Photoshop loosely. But when I do it in Photoshop, if you're over on my Patreon, if you're on the, or in the Discord, I shared that over there, but it's like a general idea. And then I'm going to obviously change that in the painting and perfect things how I really want it to be. But I typically use Photoshop and kind of make a collage of everything because it's so much easier in Photoshop to move. Like when I put tuna in there, I can move them around to figure out exactly how I want them positioned. Whereas if I had drawn it in a sketchbook, I'm erasing and moving and it takes a lot longer. So I use I use Photoshop more now than the sketchbook. But when I was younger, before Photoshop, I used to just sketch in a sketchbook. So either method really works. Now that I'm comfortable with Photoshop, I go that method more often than not. Drayden's World said, how do you design a realistic fiction WW2 book cover? I mean, I have no idea why you're asking me that. Like, I like history. I like learning about those things, but I don't know why you would think I would know that, the answer to that. Realistic fiction, I don't even know. Sorry, sir. This is not a question I would even remotely know how to answer because that's not something that I do. Photoshop. Let's see. Sorry. Let's see. Been thinking about making my own large easel. What are important features that you think it should have? It should be heavy enough that when you add pressure to it, it's not sliding backwards. I like that mine is on wheels because occasionally I need to pull it out, and if I couldn't easily do that, that would certainly be inconvenient. So wheels, heavy weight, but the wheels need to be able to lock. That is important. I think the wheels could be optional, but yeah. And you want the base portion, let me get this so you can see. Let me see how far I can back this up without losing control of this again. I don't know how far I can go. Oh my gosh, come on, a little farther. And I can probably zoom that in. You're gonna see the mess that is my easel. Okay, so this portion here, whatever this little shelf is convenient, but not necessary. But if you do have the skill, oh my gosh, it is so nice having that. Now mine rotates a little bit. It's on hinges or screw things. But it's got cups in it that hold my brushes or whatever, and the portion though that your painting is going to sit on, that has to be able to raise. So you need to have a way that you can make it go up and down. There's not going to be one standard depending on the size you're working on. Obviously this has to be able to adjust. So those are the main things I would say. I think that's probably the majority of it there. Let's move you back because you are in a really inconvenient location now. I'm just moving you all over the place tonight. Yeah, at least you didn't unplug that time. Okay. Let's see. Fly Me to the Moon said, when you use the polychromos, they seem to be transparent. Yes. Or when would you use the polychromos? They seem to be transparent. Polychromos, it depends. So I choose my pencil based on what it is I'm trying to do. If I want super tiny detail, sharp detail, I'm going to go with the polychromos. It's a harder lead, so I can sharpen to a finer point. But also, if I'm trying to do more of a glaze, something that's more translucent, I'm going to go with polychromos. Or if there's a color in polychromos that just isn't available in the other Lightfast brands that I use, then that's when I'm going to go with them. But it just depends on what I'm going for. If I need something to be more opaque, let's say I'm working on black paper, then I'm going to go with something that has a higher wax content. So my Derwent Lightfast or my Caran d'Ache Luminance. And I know Derwent Lightfast is listed as being oil-based. I'm going to argue that it's higher in the wax content. It's like a nice balance of oil and wax. But then I'm going to go with those. But sometimes it's just based on the color. Sometimes, like if I need super fine detail, polychromos is definitely going to be the go-to pencil because I can sharpen to a fine point without breaking the tip of that. Whereas something with a higher wax content that is also going to be more opaque, they're also going to be, by nature, because it's a higher wax content, they are going to be a softer lead and more prone to breaking if I sharpen that to too fine of a point. So, if that makes sense. Alice said, wait, am I right? Yeah. How long should I wait between layers when working with oil paints? If I don't want to do wet on wet, to end up with mud? Well, it depends on the medium you're working in. There's a lot of factors. For me, and my humidity, my temperatures, all of that, and working with my just whatever oil paint, so Grumbacher, Winsor & Newton, any of those, I use a fast drying medium. So that's what makes mine, within a day, I'm able to go on to my next layer. Sometimes less. If it's got a lot of liquid on it, because that's the fast drying medium, I can sometimes just give it a couple hours so it starts to tack up, and I'm able to go over it for lighter details and stuff. Maybe not for heavy, heavy layering. But because I have a tendency to paint, and this is one of the factors, I paint very light, very, very light layers. And I don't put that paint on super thick. So because there's so much liquid mixed in, it just dries faster. So it may be within a couple hours, it's tacked up enough I can go on. But for the most part, my general rule with liquid, and I do thin things down a lot, I can go onto it within the next day or so, or overnight. But if you're putting the paint on thicker, if you're using, let's say, linseed oil instead of liquid, you're going to have to wait a lot longer. I've had oil paintings take 2 months before they really dried. I was learning how to paint and put it on way too thick, but yeah, so it depends is my answer. Let's see. Flight Me to the Moon said, please compare Caran d'Ache Aquarelle versus Luminance. So those aren't even close. I mean, are you asking for a comparison video? But I really wouldn't need to. One is a colored pencil, one is watercolor. So with the watercolor pencil, you add water and it spreads everywhere like crazy. You see, let's see, what day did I do that? Was it last week? With a seahorse. So the week before. That was with watercolor pencils. And a little bit of water and it spreads. I mean, because it's a watercolor pencil. Whereas the Caran d'Ache Luminance, that's your actual normal traditional colored pencil that is a wax-based pencil. So it's got wax, clay oil, all that stuff mixed in with it. But it's not going to, you add water and pretty much nothing happens. So with that, I would thin it out with, like when I blend it, I'll blend it with odorless mineral spirits. But even then, it's not going to blend and spread like watercolor does when you add water. So completely different. Actually, you know what? Let's do a little demonstration. We've got time. We're doing good tonight. I'll show you right now. Give me 1 second. I think I have a water brush over here. Do I? I do. We are in luck. Now, where are my watercolor pencils? Let's see if I can even use the same color. What was this? Periwinkle blue? Actually, I don't know if that's a color in polychromos. Violet. Yeah, you're going to be close enough. Wait, what are you? Yeah, the color doesn't exist. Okay. Let me move. I don't want to mess this guy up. We'll zoom that in. Not the best camera angle, but you get the point. So this one is my Caran d'Ache Luminance. You're a colored pencil. So I'm going to do this in a few layers. So we are lightly going over that and building, and then I'll start to burnish on some of this so you can see how dark that would be. And I'll have to grab some odorless mineral spirits for blending as well. And then here is the Museum Aquarelle. And I don't even need to burnish on this because it's going to get dark. So let me get my odorless mineral spirits. And a brush to blend this out with. So with this, if I go over it with water, nothing really happens. I'd need to blend the Caran d'Ache Luminance with a bit of OMS. So this is what happens when I blend that with OMS. And you can see I can spread it out some. Actually, that one spreads out pretty good. And the reason I'm showing this how it spreads out is to show you the difference with the watercolor pencil. But for the most part, when we use OMS, what we're doing is making it blend in place, like it kind of soaks into the paper. Now with the watercolor, use some water, and it really spreads. But we need to use a different medium with each one to be able to make that happen. Now, maybe purple wasn't the best example because with the Caran d'Ache, the Museum Aquarelle, purple is the weakest color. Like that is just, see how light that is? I actually wouldn't be able to get that purple that dark unless I did the pencil where I just burnished it and didn't blend it with water. Like if I leave that this dark, yeah, I can get it. That's as dark as I can get it. So that was actually a complaint I had with the Museum Aquarelle. If I blend it out, it still ends up being pretty light. Like it just doesn't get as dark as what I can get the purple with other brands. But anyway, yeah, that is the difference. You're going to use two different methods for blending those. Oh, also, we have, really quick, Gibson's waiting. Gibson knows. Rob said, just because Gibson is cool and Wade is my spirit animal. What? I didn't call you boys. What is this mess? What? Did you just sense? You're going to back up, at least be cute. Let Rob see your face because Bad Cow is apparently Rob's spirit animal. Thank you so much, Rob. You could have Bad Cow waiting. Yeah. Back up. There you go. You good boys. You know, it'd be easier if you just took those back to your bed instead of drooling over here. Nope, that's Wade. Bad Cow's trying to steal the crumb Gibson made. That's thievery. No theft here. Oh, straight to jail. Thank you so much, Rob. Okay, boys, go lay down. Down. No, don't you force your way to the bad. You see, that's why you're the bad cow. Gibson, lay down. Say thank you, Rob. Gibson. Oh, you're going to stretch first? Gibson. Down. Gibson. Most stubborn breed. Oh my God, sighthounds are stubborn. And now Gibson's laying down. Wade, stop. Wait. It's like the grass made me itch. Okay, thank you again so much. Okay. Next. Lily said, can you do something like marbles in a glass jar? Maybe in some out? Maybe in, oh, I see what you mean. Oh, that would be a neat lesson. Marbles, hold on. We're gonna start using this piece of paper over here and write down your ideas because that's a neat idea. It's not something I would come up with on my own. Marbles. Okay, making notes. Marie said, for final fixative, does it need to be sprayed until the color won't lift when touched? How many layers do you spray? Some questions for workable fixative, colored pencils, charcoal, graphite. The final fixative, no, I've never had any fixative, whether it be for pastels or when working with powder blender and using the final fixative, the powder blender products. You will never hit a point with those that it wouldn't smudge, that it wouldn't lift if you tried to erase or rub your hand over it. So this just seals it down as well as possible, but it still could, like that is normal that you would still be able to smudge it. I do a couple of light layers, call it done, frame it behind glass, that's it. Was that it for that question? How many layers do I spray? A couple of light layers, 2, 3 layers. 3 is not a couple. I can count. Same question for workable fixative. I usually do 1 light layer with that before I move on to my next layering with the powder blender. There's not a wrong answer though. Like let's say you wanted to do 2 layers of the workable fixative, 3 layers, you could do that. Like it's not a problem if you want to do more. So experiment and see what works best for you because you may be laying the pencils down different than me too. So you may like it with 2 layers versus I only needed the 1 or the reverse. So yeah, experiment with that. What brand of easel do I have? It is a Richardson Best. I don't know. I got it from Blick. Whatever big easels they have there. This thing is huge. This is one of those easels. It should be the only easel I ever have to buy again. Like that is a lifetime type investment, but it was a big one. or big, I had to save for a while. But I don't feel like if you can't get this big, huge easel that you can't paint. Like I had a little one I got for like 150 bucks, and they have those for about that price, under $200 on Amazon. They have those that are honestly just fine. This one was big and heavy because I wanted something that would be more permanent. But yeah, honestly, those ones could have been permanent too. Let's see. Gail said, has the subject to be added to your mental current piece been decided on? I thought a message in a bottle on the ocean floor would be add curiosity. What do you think? That would be neat with an octopus. So yeah, on this guy, I don't know for sure. Where is it? What my initial idea was to use like eagle rays or some sort of ray. But with the coloration, once I saw what it looked like with the bottle with tuna on it, or tuna and then glitch, I might go with a sea turtle. I kind of like the idea of an octopus. I'm back and forth on that. I have not decided yet. I've got to figure out what I want. So I'm between seeing if I can find proper reference photos, and that's going to be the challenge for the rays. I like the idea of eagle rays. But with the perspective and stuff, I don't know if it works with this. Octopus could work. The sea turtle is probably where I'm going to land because they've got so many of the browns and greens, and I just think it would balance everything out nicely. But yeah, I still don't know for sure. I've got to decide on that. But I bought myself some time because this is going to be broken down. Actually, let's pull that back up. For those of you on Patreon, the sky is going to be one lesson. The underwater, the whole underwater is going to be one lesson. And then glitch and tuna would be 2 separate lessons. So this is multiple, like I'm going to break it up into separate sections so that, I mean, most people aren't going to paint this entire thing. So I figure it would be better for you to have like just a lesson on how to paint clouds, just a lesson on each element, but that gives me time to get some, I want to do some graphite lessons as well. I've got so many projects planned. Yeah, but I'm not sure on what's going to go down there, but I've got some time to decide while I work on some other stuff. Because I got so much done in 2 nights. Let's see. I like the message in a bottle with an octopus would be neat too. I don't know. And I've got a good reference photo for that too. I don't know. Let's see. Have I ever used the Faber-Castell Albrecht Dürer watercolor pencils? What is your opinion? I have, and I love them. And have I not made a YouTube video? I don't think that ever made it onto YouTube. So weird story with Faber-Castell. They contacted me. This was several years ago. And I love the company. They contacted me. The person I was dealing with was really nice, but I don't think they work there anymore. I think they left partway through and then they brought someone new on. So if you remember, I made a big video, a box opening. They sent me a bunch of materials to make videos with. And that was like an exchange thing. Here's the supplies, now go make videos. And, or make, as they wanted some that they could put on their channel, on their social media. And so I made a few of them. And they were weird because they had like, the videos were weird, not Faber-Castell was weird. They gave me some files, but they didn't tell me what to do with them. They wanted me to make like this weird intro thing. And I was like, well, the intro would be on you. I had told them that to begin with. The programs that I use for my intros, I pay for a specific, like a service, and I can only use those on my channel. For them to use on theirs, they need to do their own intro. But or at least what I used to use, not what I use now. But they didn't really give me much feedback on what they wanted it done, and it had to be done with After Effects. They're like, no, just add this. And I'm like, but I don't do After Effects. Like I told you, it was the lady I was dealing with was weird. So, and again, weird in that she wasn't giving me the information I needed. She was probably a totally nice lady. I don't know. I mean, she was always nice to me, but I didn't get the information I needed to do what she wanted. And so I made a couple of these videos. I had several of them, and I did one with the watercolor. I did like 3 with colored pencil. And we had in the contract, there was a certain amount of videos they wanted me to make. And I'm still like, if they ever contact me, you're seeing this Faber-Castell, I will happily make these for you. I agreed to it, but I did them, and then they never used them. And then all of a sudden I get a message that she's no longer with the company and this other person's in charge if I need anything. Information on what you want from me would be great. So I never like got good. And the videos were supposed to be like, a certain amount of them were supposed to be 30 seconds. Some of them were 1 minute. They were weirdly short. And I didn't know how to edit those at that point, like the way I didn't know what they were looking for, and I couldn't get that information. So I made some because they weren't responding. So I'm like, well, I owe them. Okay, here's some videos, but then they never used them. So yeah, I don't know. I don't even remember I don't think I ended up uploading those to my channel at all. I did to Patreon. Patrons have it. But yeah, no, I need to do some reviews. I'm glad you brought that up because I should do some projects just with each of the, with some of the Faber-Castell stuff that I just, yeah, that's why those videos though. I had done a, was it a lilac-breasted roller? No, it was some kind of a bee eater. I think it was a European bee eater. Super colorful bird. It's over on Patreon. And I did one was supposed to be done in watercolor pencils and one was a color pencil as like a comparison. But they never got back to me. Like they never, like I didn't, yeah. So I could actually still finish it. I wonder if I still have that drawing. Oh my gosh, Rob, wow. Another super chat for Matt to get his comic. Sorry, so sorry it got cut off. And also, boys, this was for Dad. Dad's getting a comic. This wasn't for you to get a super chat treat. Look at him. Oh, you can't look at him. Don't care. Want super chat. You said the word. I get it now. Fine. And oh, Rob, he is going to love you. So we've been having we called it No Spend June because I spent too much in May with Aquashella and with all that. So I've been doing No Spend June and Matt's been doing it too. See, thank you, Rob. But, oh, did you drop it? Yeah, get it before a bad cow does. Him's not called a bad cow for nothing. He will steal your treat. Huh. But no, Matt's going to be very happy with you. Like, you don't even know how much he's going to be excited about that, Rob. Thank you so much. Nick said those are going to be the biggest greyhounds on the planet. You think this is true? I don't know. You're a little fluffy. Okay, go lay down, boys. Say thank you to Rob. Yeah, Matt's definitely going to be happy to get a break from his No Spend June. It's probably going, go lay down, lay down, lay down. Go on, you too. I'm missing one. Gibson, lay down. Gibson. He's like, no, I'm going to do what I want. Fine. Anyway, yeah, Rob said June is over. Not quite. And I don't count it over because I don't get paid until like 10 days into July. So June really counts into that. I'm just trying to get caught up and both of us are getting caught up and making up for, yeah, it's been an interesting, you get creative. Like I was organizing an area on my desk and I wanted a tray. And normally I'm like, oh, I'll just go to Amazon and buy a tray to organize all this stuff. Going around the house, like what can I steal from something else to make this project with? So it's been kind of fun being creative with that. But yes, I'll be glad when No Spend June is over. Let's see. Oh, this just jumped. Hold on one second. Let's see, how about to paint glass and acrylics, such as a wine bottle, glasses, anything glass would be great. Let me add that too. So we want glass and acrylics. I like that idea. Okay. So thank you for the suggestion. Ashley said, what do you think about Paint My Life? I lost a commission to that today. I want to know how much their artists actually get paid. They're not charging a lot. I actually don't know anything about it. Hold on. Let's do a Google search. What is Paint My Life? Inspired by human memories. Celebrate your, let's see. I'm looking this up right now. I'll give you my opinion in just a moment here. Free shipping. Wedding gifts, it's not wanting to load. You know what, let's just look it up on the computer. Hold on. Let's find out what that is, and I will make a quick judgment without doing actual research because it's YouTube and that's what we do here. We have instantpainting.com. Paint your life. Is that what you said? Paint your life or paint my life? Paint someone's life. Paint my life. Well, this is Paint Your Life. These are portraits. Is it an actual artist? Gallery? Specials? Compilations? What are they made out of? Pricing and timing? How it works. Let's read how it works. Place your order, choose the technique and style, select an artist, and then upload your photo. You can upload multiple photos to be combined into one portrait, pick and pay 20%, submit your order, preparing a digital draft. So they do the mock-up like I do. The magic begins. Approved magic sends to, okay, the artist will take a picture of the portrait, framing, final payment and shipping, paint my photo. Who are the artists? This sounds like a bunch of BS to me. This sounds like wish.com get portraits done, honestly. These, I promise you, will never be worth anything. I mean, let's be realistic. If I hire another artist to paint a photo of my nephew, that artist, like the portrait of my nephew probably never going to be worth anything because it's not like their nephew. Like it's a little bit different than a landscape. Somebody else may want that landscape, but somebody else wanting a portrait of your nephew or a portrait of your kid or a portrait. So I'm not going to pretend that those were ever going to be worth anything, but these are really not going to be worth anything. Holy crap. This sounds like a wish.com portrait from what I can say. Let's see. 24 by 30 inch. Number of pets, so it goes up depending on how many you have in there. So you can get a 24 by 30 for $450 with 2 pets. Oh, this is a joke. And what sucks, oh, I bet you this is that mass-produced crap where it's essentially a slave work conditions out of China. These are not artists who are ever going to be well known. These are not artists. Where's this coming from? Does it say? I bet you this is just that cheap crap out of China. These aren't even like artists that will ever be known at all. A 20 by 30 inch painting of your person or pet, $400. I'm not saying it won't be pretty or that you won't like it, but it's wish.com. What you expected, what you got. Usually not going to be the same thing. And the funny thing about this, I don't see this being worthy because their artists aren't going to be able to tell you, hey, that photo sucks. This is what I need in a photo. Their artists aren't going, they probably don't speak English, so you're going to have some complications in the communication there. Yeah, this is definitely, receive your portrait in as little as 15 days. There are so many red flags with this, and that does suck because I could see where we as portrait artists would lose money in that because it's like, yeah, there's a weird thing there. And then the frames are not expensive, which doesn't surprise me. I mean, it's a deal, I guess, but I doubt what people are really getting. Let's look at gallery. Gallery, they're just going to show their best, which is typical. Oh, these aren't good. Oh, Lord. Their gallery, oh my God. Some are okay. I guess it depends on the artist. These are, And the frustrating thing, though, is that most people, like I can look at this and go, those are not good. Most people, they can't tell the difference. Most buyers, unfortunately, are not. Some of these are okay. Some of these are atrocious. Oh, God. Many of these are very, very bad. Painted by Demetrius K. Okay, so that's not actually a name I would have expected. Painted for Benjamin by Elena Gloria A. Who are these artists? Like, where are these artists from? And you know what's bad? And I actually feel bad for these artists. I wouldn't support anything like this myself. I feel bad for these artists because you know they are barely making anything. The majority of this money probably going to whoever built this website and is running it. Like, use code USA. Yeah, this is not based in the US. I can guarantee you that. I would be floored to find out it was. Yeah, this is a joke. And it sucks because this joke is going to hurt actual portrait artists. But this work is, I mean, you get what you pay for. Oh, God. I'm looking through the gallery and it's just like, some are actually good. Yeah, they're a thing, all right. So, I mean, I don't even know. Yeah, it's a factory type painting. And Yeah, I agree with that. Dolphin Soul said many of them look AI. I don't know if they are hand painted or if they're being done by AI, which could be the case anyway. But the thing is, a lot of people, I see a lot of people that used to hire me for like pet portraits. They now are, and I don't take them anymore, so it's not like, I mean, I don't do commissions, so it's not like I'm saying this because I'm bitter, because I don't do that work now myself anymore. But they are posting apps where they ran a photo of their dog through an app, and then they had it printed onto a canvas, and that's cool if that's what they want. But they're doing that instead of hiring artists in many cases now. But it's like, you look at that and it's like, yeah, but it's also never going to be worth anything. That artist, like, it's AI, it's worthless. I mean, it's worth it to the person who did it, and so if you want to go that way, fine. But it's just not the same. It's certainly not the same. So yeah, it sucks, because it definitely will. Like, I believe you that you lost a commission to that. I believe you, because I've seen buyers not understand artist A and artist B are not on the same playing field, but they're charging the same, or pay more for the one that's worse. Like, it's just because, whether it be they like, and that's the thing with art. A lot of the buyers are picking you based on, did they know you, did they like you, instead of the art being like standing on its own 2 feet type thing. So yeah, that's interesting. I don't know if those are actually hand painted. Maybe they are. Maybe it's an app. Maybe this is like, it reminds me of Fiverr, like where somebody sends something to Fiverr and like, for $5 you get this great edited video, and it's like the most painful thing you've ever seen. You might get a good artist in there, you might not. That is, yeah, that sucks, honestly, because I can see where people would. Let's see. Rob said this is not some CGI-based operation. These pieces are created by brush-wielding artists who are paid above average wages for their effort. California-based, guarantee you they're not. Promise you that's a lie. So what a lot of these companies in China are doing, they are saying that they are based out of California, based out of San Diego. One of them is actually named made in South Carolina, North Carolina, I don't know, one of the Carolinas. And they're not. It's a lie. They are lying yeah, and I believe their site says that, but this is the problem. I ran into this. So I bought, here, let's go to TMI, so everyone needs to know this. I decided there was a thing for like a strapless bra that I was like, oh, that looks like it might work well better than other stuff I have. It was like $30 or $20. I don't even remember, $40, whatever it was. And I saw this ad on Facebook. This was years ago. Actually, it was during 2020. So yeah, the website is probably in California. That I would believe. And so this company's big thing, made in the USA, sold in the USA, everything was in the USA. And my thing is, I don't buy things that come from China because it takes forever to get them. And then if you needed to return it, that's an issue. Like, I just don't, and there are a lot of problems with buying from these little Shen, whatever companies, where it's like slave labor camps. It's bad. So anyway, this one was, very clear, everything on their website, everything posted on Facebook. And it turned out, yeah, not only did it come from China, they used a fake shipping company that's like a dupe, that it looks like a real shipping label, but it's not. So you can look it up, and they have this fake, it's a known scam. And they never sent the item. And I turned them into PayPal, and actually PayPal, surprisingly enough, sided with them, because they're like, no, here's our shipping information. We sent it, but it's COVID time, so, and everything's going to take longer than usual. What they had used was a fake shipping thing, and after I had turned them in, they actually did ship it with a different shipping label, go figure, or a different shipping company altogether. But I ended up getting the item. It was not as it didn't even look like what was on the website, what they advertised. Didn't work. It's still in a bag, because I can't throw things away, because I'm borderline hoarder. I'm weird about things being super organized, but also that hoarder in me is still there. But anyway, yeah, it everywhere said it was out of California, San Diego. Everything said US, except it was not shipped from there. It was based on the tracking information. And I went back on Facebook and I wrote on there where it was actually from. They blocked me. So anyone who is coming onto these, there's just tons and tons and tons of comments saying, I got my item, I love my item, it was so good. Most of them are fake. Some of them might be real, I'm sure. I mean, I eventually got something from them. It wasn't what they advertised, but it also did not come from the US like they claimed. And anyone who calls them out on it gets deleted. So that website, this is a very, very common thing, and people are gonna have to figure it out the hard way. What they're ordering is not coming from the US. What they're ordering is not being painted by actual artists making a good wage, above average wage. BS. I almost swore, but BS. So yeah, you don't trust them. But I mean, I'm preaching to the choir here. You guys know that. I mean, most of you guys already know that. It's the buyers, unfortunately, don't. And they're going to have to learn the hard way. It's getting to the point, I don't trust most websites. Like I've been trying to find, like I used to buy stuff from clothing from Target. I don't know if you've been to Target lately, but their clothing is the ugliest thing. Like I just need a shirt. I just need some shirts that I can wear on live streams. You can't get them anymore. Can't, like their stuff is just so ugly. So I'm looking online. I don't trust most of the places online anymore because so many of them are claiming they're from the US. You go and look up reviews, like do reviews for whatever, and you find out people are like, no, it did not come from the US. Returns went to like Bangladesh and then here and then there, and it was this whole thing. Like it's not what they claimed it is. So it's getting bad because a lot of people are starting to not trust companies. You find this website that claims, oh, it's in the US, it's coming from the US, therefore you think, okay, great, returns would be easy for shipping. No, it's not. Returning, in most of these cases, costs more than whatever you paid for the item. Like it is a nightmare of what's going on with a lot of that stuff. It is bad. So anyway, okay. So I'm sorry that you lost that, but no, I guarantee you those artists are not making much. It's not a US company. They find ways to get around being able to say that it is. But like one of the things that one company I was telling you about with the bras, they told me, or they were very clear, not told me, but on their advertisements, ships from San Diego, California, but except that it doesn't at all. And if somebody comments, it's deleted. So yeah, super, super annoying. Nick said, marbles, if you're looking at drawing or painting marbles, I have lost yours. I sent you some images on MeWe chat. Oh, thank you. I'll check those out later. Probably tomorrow. Probably not tonight. Arta William Russell said, hey, I'm a comic cover artist on my way to Fan Expo, Denver this weekend, and wanted to say I love your channel. Thank you. Oh, my husband's hugely into comics. He's actually a professional comic writer. He works for Beckett. Oh, that's what... Rob, I keep forgetting to tell you the updates on his work there. It's going very well. They're making some huge improvements for grading comics. Beckett, it's cool. It's exciting. Hopefully they take over CGC because theirs are actually done better. Their cases are they're doing some upgrades that are going to look so nice. Yay. So anyway, yeah. So that's my husband, the industry he just went into, and it's really cool. So he's, huge, when we moved from California to Texas, we had to get this huge, the biggest size U-Haul type moving truck, and I couldn't bring my furniture. It was all for his comics. That's how many, he's been collecting his whole life, so yeah. Fight me to the moon said, I don't know anybody that works in a shop making paintings that are paid a wage, do you? No. You know where that happens? China. It's not a thing that's done here. It's not it's all BS, and people don't know that. People Nat is just driving me crazy. People just believe what they read online and need to start learning. Don't trust anything. It's all a lie. But yeah, yeah. Let's see. Art of William Russell said, very cool. Yeah, some of my sketch art goes to Beckett for slabbing. Nice. What? Message me later. I'm actually, Matt would know. I'm sure if he knows all the names of all the comic artists, everything, and he'd probably be like, oh yeah, I know that guy. So yeah, that's really cool. Art of William Russell. Wait, I have your name. I'm a genius. He did. My husband, who's into comics, did not marry a genius, apparently. I did not put two and two together there. So yeah, that's cool. I'll have to tell Matt. And I remember to actually message Rob. So let's see. I think we are almost at 9. I don't think I got any bids. I think I get to keep my jellyfish. Do I? Hold on. Am I keeping? Oh no, we did get a bid for the jellyfish. I don't get to keep the jellyfish. I'm sad and excited at the same time. And just for the winner of who is bidding on this, we'll show you again what you're going to get because it came out so pretty. I'm so in love with the colors on this. So, and let me know when you check out, when you pay for it, let me know if you want a black mat or a white mat. So there are 2 options for you there. The white mats have a weird line through it. I don't think the white mats are as nice as the black mats, and I think black overall generally looks better, but it's up to you. Let's see. Art of William Russell says, I'll be back in Texas in September for another Comic-Con. Love going to my Texas shows. Nice. Yeah, he was working, I guess there was some big comic event a couple weeks ago, and they were doing a whole thing of grading, like people would drop off their comics on Friday to be signed and witnessed, and then they were sending it back to him, so he had to work that weekend to get everything. So that's really cool. Nice. Let's see, Art of William Russell said, yeah, I've done covers for Image Comics, Dynamic Comics, and tons of indie books, but you watch your show lots of times while I'm working. Oh, that's awesome. Your color pencil stuff is insane. Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm definitely, Matt will be interested. Oh, he's not here. Let's see. Lydia said, your jellyfish is gorgeous. I wish I was in the US to bid on it. Sorry, Lisa, I'm in New Zealand. I'm sorry I don't have a good way to ship overseas. Like, the best I can do for people. No, lay down. Bad cow. Bad cow, lay down. You're breaking the rules. Just because I sound happy doesn't mean what you big assumptions over there, sir. Where was I going with that? Yeah, so the shipping international is a problem for me because things get lost and then people complain, and it's a whole thing. So it's like such a high risk for me to ship. I mean, it's a risk anyway to ship locally, but international takes so long, and then people complain, and then it's so much. The best I can do is if you know someone in the US who is willing to ship it, like I can ship it to them, and then they can be responsible for getting it to you over in New Zealand. So yeah, but thank you guys so much for joining tonight. Make sure to check our moderators channels. They keep all the spam out of our chat. Their links are in the video description. And next week, I don't know what we're drawing. Maybe marbles, I don't know, we'll see. I've got a list of other suggestions that I'm working through from before. I've got to go look up William Russell and ask Matt if he knows who you are. So he's gonna get a kick out of that. And let's see, Blue said, would you maybe be interested in interviewing your husband for a video? I'd love that. I'd be interested. Matt would not do it. I don't think I could get him to. I'm surprised I was able to get him on videos before. He is not. Also, oh, someone must have felt bad for the bad cow. Corey, thank you so much for the super chat. Look at him pouting. Mom said I couldn't have it, and I thought I could have it, but then she said no. Okay, fine. You want a super chat from Corey? You want a super chat? Now you can come. Thank you so much, Corey. That's a fun way to end on a high note for these boys. Oh, did Corey give you a super? Corey, I felt bad for you. Okay. Happy boys. Thank you so much. Okay, is there anything else? I think your fur is so soft on your neck, Wade. Yours is not so soft. You'll have very soft, fluffy fur. Anyway, no one cares. I think that was it. Are we done? Yeah, I'll have more stuff going up. Videos this week. I've got some shorts planned. I've been posting more reels on Instagram. This was one of the things that I was talking about earlier. Instagram reels are doing really well. So if you're trying to grow on Instagram, reels, oh my gosh, I do better on my Instagram reels than I do anything I post on YouTube lately, which is sad. That's really sad. I don't know what YouTube is doing with their search features and all of that, but yeah, and of course I posted on MeWe too, but we already know I love MeWe. But yeah, I've been posting more on Instagram, and thank you guys so much for joining. You two are just gonna stand here and huff at me. Okay, I guess that's a thing. That is what's happening now. But I will see you guys next Wednesday with something. I don't know. Thank you guys again. I don't know where my buttons are. There's my buttons. That it did not even do what it was supposed to do. There.